Right, good morning. Today is 14 December and this is my last day here in Pakistan. Yeah, it was now over a month that I'm staying here. Actually, I'm overstaying once again following Iran. Reason being is like, yeah, there had been some things, especially about the Indian visa, so which prolonged my stay here. Exactly what happened also in Iran, this time with the difference that I managed to get my visa for India without less problems, but thanks to some help that I had both locally from the people here in Pakistan and also from back home. But about this later. So basically I want to just talk about my experience in Pakistan. Surely, Pakistan was the most adventurous section of my trip so far. I would say obtaining the visa it's not a problem at all for Pakistan. You can easily do it online for those who are planning to go to Pakistan. So maybe things would change again, but this is the current situation. Unlike India, which took me a lot of effort to obtain my visa. So for those who know, I tried to get my visa in Iran, but thankfully I didn't do it, because with the Indian visa, once it is issued, you start having a countdown. So that means every day spent in another country means a day less in India, unless you get a really long one. In my case, I got a 3-month here from Pakistan, and with a single entry. For some reason they didn't want to give me a multi-entry, but anyway I don't really need it, because from here I go to India, and from India either I finish in Pakistan, I finish in Nepal, or I finish in Sri Lanka, and that's where my trip finishes. So anyway, getting back to from where it started, getting into Pakistan wasn't really difficult, thanks to Mr. Hamid at the Taftan border, who made the process a bit easier for me, and I guess also for all other travelers. Yeah, basically he's happy to have a chat with you, give him a sticker, and just promote a bit his good work. Yes, and then by the end of the whole going forth and back, you will end up with a sort of interrogation. Yes, and that's where they ask you whether you have a SIM card, or what, if you have friends in Iran, and yeah, you have to be a bit careful how to reply. You have to say no for the SIM card, and about the friends you can say simply, I didn't have, but now I have, because Iran is such a good country and people are so nice, which is truly. Anyway, and then crossing getting on the Pakistani side, I've been again went through some other interrogations, and yeah, they need some paperwork, but I would say it was okay. They were really nice, very hospitable, and this is something that you will actually face in Pakistan. I would say more intensively than Iran, from that point of view. Yeah, then you spend the first 2 nights at least in two levies compounds. The first one was nothing special. We just slept. If you have a bed, or you sleep on it, or if you have a mattress or something, because there isn't much where to sleep. So I still kept my bed from my camping equipment. That's the only thing that I have left. So basically I used it only once. Then we moved to the next stop, which was Dalbadin, and there we stayed with Mr. Abdul, who's the chief of police. And I would say it was a pretty good experience. I was also traveling with 4 other people, 2 of which are bikers. It's a couple from Holland. Those who are following me know exactly to whom I am referring. Lovely couple, very relaxed, so I felt very comfortable traveling along them. And yeah, we were treated very good in Dalbadin. We had a nice meal, all for free, coffee, tea, also a room. So this is all for free, it was really, really cool. And that's from Dalbadin. We traveled all the way to Quetta. And yeah, Quetta, I don't think it's a nice place to visit. I don't know, like, but I don't have a very good impression from what I've seen. I arrived late at night, so the last part was not really a nice welcome, because we have to really drive through a big puddle of water, which I managed to avoid riding on the shoulder, but still was kind of tricky because it was muddy, and I could have easily slipped in the water. So, but thankfully I got out of it. Yeah, and then the hotel, the Bloom Star Hotel where we were staying, is not really the best, but I would say I can't really complain. But anyway, this is where it stops with Quetta. You're not allowed to go anywhere, and then once you're in Quetta, you have to get your NOC, which is this document everyone requires to, then you will be free to move. And then from Quetta, we did something that probably most travelers don't do who are traveling on a motorbike. We put our bikes on a train that took us from Quetta all the way down to Lahore, and to Lahore to Rawalpindi. So this is the route of the train, so we couldn't avoid it. So it was quite a lengthy one, and it was also a great experience because it is something that I have never experienced before. Of course, I've been on trains, but not such on long journeys, and sleeping also in a train. So quite memorable, I would say, thanks to my friends Amiel and Kimberly from Holland, with whom I was traveling, because I was not planning to do so, because Amiel had a problem with his bike, which basically was the chain that was really worn out, so it was kind of risky to continue traveling with the chain in such condition. And it also spared us the hassle of traveling with the levies. I mean, actually the levies were there, the train was always guarded. There were military people marching forth and back in our wagon, and then from time to time you have the train inspectors who come and check the tickets, so you don't know who these people are, but anyway. It is also a bit of annoying, but it is also good. Yeah, and then at one point some people wanted to sleep in our cabin, which I complained about, made such a fuss about it, and they gave up. Yeah, so once your door is open, then everyone wants to have a peek inside your cabin and ask a lot of questions, and stupid questions, like instead of asking your name, maybe first they ask from which country are you, and then the second question would be what religion do you practice, so and it's quite funny. So I try to cut such conversations short because it's not really none of my interest. But anyway, so yeah, from, as I said, Quetta, we took the train all the way to Rawalpindi, and that's where I stayed with the Dominican Sisters of Malta, which is a congregation obviously founded in my country, in Malta. And I had a very good stay with them. There were no Maltese sisters in Rawalpindi, but I was very, very comfortable. I was treated very, very good, with good food and whatever I needed. So yeah, the point of getting to Rawalpindi, basically we went to Islamabad to apply for the Indian visa, which my first attempt failed because apparently all the paperwork was okay, the photos, they were not right, so I went to take photos, got back, and the photos then were okay, but then they said, you can't have multi-entry. So to be honest, I didn't complain, and it was something that I had to redo from scratch, so I've done the whole thing. That went the day after, and everything went smooth. This time I went with my friends as well, so everything was fine. We paid, and the day after we just left to the north, which was a great experience, going all the way up to the China border, which there was actually freezing. It was a pity that we didn't manage to ride all the way to the border, so basically we had to leave our bikes at the station before with the levies, and luckily there were a couple of guys with 2 cars, and we hitched the ride all the way there. So we just spent a few minutes, took some photos, and we rode back down. So yeah, to be honest, it was not really on my plans to ride all the way to that point, but yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful to my friends that with them, I had this experience. So yes, we moved a bit around different areas, and yeah, some passes were not open because of snowfall, and yeah, there was another pass, Shandur Pass, which we didn't take because people were saying that like the road is under construction, that's okay, but also meant that the ongoing would have been a bit slow. And not only that, is basically you had to also stop many times, which didn't make the ride maybe all that pleasant. So regretfully we had to retake the same way back on the KKH. But anyway, it still was a pleasant experience riding all the way back then. From Besham, actually it was me that by mistake I took the motorway, but anyway we were also planning to do so, to cut a long story short, because we didn't want to go through the same places and going through the same annoyance, being stopped, checked, escorted. So anyway, like 60 kilometers away from Islamabad, then we finally we got stopped by the police, and they wanted to fine us. They were coming up with some big stories, and yeah, I tried to play that I was sick, so I couldn't afford to take the long ride. And one of the police told me, but you should have then taken an ambulance. I said, no ambulance was going to take me from there to Islamabad, and like who else is going to ride my motorbike? So anyway, after playing a bit the game, they gave up and they escorted us to the first slipway, and then from there we took our road. So it was very busy then. For me, I went to stay with a friend of mine with whom I met in Korea some years ago for a Taekwondo training course. So it was nice catching up again. But I mean, because I had more things to do, I couldn't stay that long with them. I didn't have my space. And anyway, so I left. I got back to Rawalpindi, and then from Rawalpindi, we waited until I had my visa, which I had it before my Dutch friends. And as soon as I had my Indian visa, I left to Lahore, where I am right now. Yeah, a couple of days later, my Dutch friends, they managed also to get their visa, and currently they are already in Nepal. So they paid a lot of money just to cross from Pakistan to India and eventually Nepal. So because everything took a bit long, they couldn't afford to stay any longer because they had to meet some person over there. So anyway, getting back to me, yes, I am in Lahore here. I was quite busy with my work related to the missionary projects that I have had to cover. Yes, I'm also here staying with the Dominican Sisters of Malta, which is their house here where they train their novices. It's a formation house actually, but I also had the opportunities to visit other places they have, both in Lahore and also outside Lahore in Jang. So I think Jang is a place where most people don't probably go, and if I would have been alone, I would have probably missed, because actually there's not really much to see there. It's not just another town, but it is the Mecca of terrorists. So I don't think I would have been allowed to travel there completely alone. But thanks to Sister Frances, who is the Maltese sister here, I managed to travel with them, and I also had a good experience. I really enjoyed seeing the good work the sisters are doing here for the local community, irrespective if you believe in God or not, if you're religious or not, or from whatever walk of life you come from. We have to admit that these people here are doing a lot of good work. They are doing they are covering that gap where the governments are not really managing to cover. These are countries inflicted with a lot of difficulties, with a lot of problems. There's a lot of corruption around. I don't want to really talk about politics, but this is the sad, crude truth. We cannot deny it. People live this reality. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they want to change, but in a way they have to accept and adapt to the situation. because it's very hard for them to go any further. So I had the opportunity actually to penetrate in people's house, especially here in Lahore, and they have to see the conditions in which they live. So like they are quite terrible. Of course, there is lack of education. Women are not very well treated, you know. So being born as a woman in such countries, it's kind of a curse. Actually, the fathers, they want to sell their daughters for money. So when you think about it, you know, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, there are many different cultural differences between us from Malta, or in general the Western world and this side of the world. But you know, it is also equally a great experience. So I would still recommend people to come to Pakistan. You have to live it on your skin, because everyone's adventure is a different adventure. So my adventure, my experience here in Pakistan would be something very totally different from anyone else. So yeah, that's the best part of sharing this video, just for you to have an idea of what you might be facing. Don't be overwhelmed, you know, you will find help everywhere, especially if you're a foreigner here. And people are very curious, but also very hospitable. They want you to be with them, to sleep with them. You know, they want to feed you even if they have nothing. So that is really, really amazing. You know, irrespective of from which religion they come from. But for me, religion is not on the top of my agenda, because I came here for discovering, adventure, living my experience, and also cover the job that missiomalta is doing in this country. Okay, if you don't know who is missiomalta is a mission organization. It is also international, but some countries, they have their offices, and they are making a lot of good work around the globe, especially in third world countries. That's it from Pakistan. Tomorrow I should be planning to cross into India, so everything is fine. I managed to also get my exit permit because I overstayed, so it was much cheaper and much faster to get the exit permit rather than getting a visa extension. So it's kind of a funny thing, you know, you overstay for 2 weeks and you just pay $8. So it says it's free, but you have to pay $8. And then even if you overstay by a month, we're talking about something really, really ridiculous, you know. So if you overstay, don't worry. It's very simple to obtain your exit permit. So practically you have to go on the same webpage from where you got your e-visa, and you find the exit permit site, and you just apply there. You know, you go through the same thing. Basically, they ask you also to upload a rejection or cancellation letter by the Pakistan Ministry of Affairs of Pakistan, which you don't need to. You just need to make a letter stating that that you never have had any application being rejected or cancelled. You know, and it's a declaration you have to do. Anyway, that's it. So. Just keep following my channel, guys, and I wish everyone happy festivities, whether you celebrate them or not. Okay, I still love this part of the year. Okay, this Christmas festivities here, they are celebrating it as well. Of course, the Christian community here is in minority. It's only a very, very, very small percentage. I think 2% or 3%. Who are Christians. There are also Protestants and some other type of churches around. So you won't be finding any decorations around, but in the Catholic places, yes, you can find that atmosphere. So guys, thank you very much. I wish you all the best, and see you in India.